Your thoughts?
What? What? Who?
Nice.
Even ready for such an energetic open. I have been up since 3:45 today. Life's looking good for CJ, and I hope that all of you are doing okay too. 26 degrees on this 10th day of February, and you know, I felt really good going to bed early last night. There wasn't really much to watch. I mean, I'm not really a football fan, just to be honest, and not to throw salt in the wounds of any of the Kansas City Chief fans, because you guys have almost a dynasty in the making. But, I mean, it was just, you know, last night by the start of the second half, you knew it was pretty much all but said and done. So we turned that off, and I turned on the news, and I went to bed. So we got a great show. I'm energized. Already been at work for 4 hours today. Life's looking good. Hey, here's what you need to know. Coming down the pipeline in just a couple of minutes, we are going to be talking to OSF Healthcare. Always some great conversations and ways that you can stay informed on how to keep ourselves healthy, especially around this time of year. 1010 Grid Solar joins us, and we're getting the latest from them. They have my energy bill. We're going to find out if solar's right for me once and for all. And then at 10:35, Amoriah and Angela Gray join us in the studio. Amoriah is writing a new book, plus she's got a new plushie out. So we're going to get the details on all of that. I love when Amoriah and Angela join us and fill us in on the latest. So all that comes down the pipeline this Monday morning in the next 2 hours. But in the meantime, at 9:04, here's what you need to know. Make sure you sign up for that daily email update where you can join myself and over 70,000. I'm thinking it's 80 or 90,000. Now, I'll have to ask Mike, but we keep growing on that. With that daily email update where you can join myself and 70,000 people that are in the know each and every day of the work week and on Saturdays. We will take you to Dupo first. The major case squad of Greater St. Louis has made significant strides in the investigation of the February 3rd homicide of 37-year-old Cody Rhodes, resulting in the arrest of 3 suspects. Dupo police responded to reports of gunfire, discovering 2 victims, with Rhodes later pronounced deceased. The squad, activated by Dupo Police Chief Dennis Plew, coordinated extensively across Illinois and Missouri, leading to the apprehension of Bryce Rhodes, Kingston Todd, and a 15-year-old juvenile, all facing serious charges. The case highlights the effectiveness in our interagency collaboration, and we'll keep you updated as more details on this tragic case do emerge. Also in the news today, an 18-year-old from Cahokia, Demetrius Hill, has been charged with felony home invasion and armed robbery after allegedly breaking into a Granite City residence on January the 28th. Here's what we know on this case. Armed with a Glock 40 caliber handgun, Hill threatened the occupant, demanding money and valuables. He reportedly stole a PlayStation and an iPad. Using force during the confrontation, police apprehended Hill as he attempted to flee the scene, recovering the stolen items and the firearm. Despite his extensive criminal history and the state's efforts to keep him detained, Hill was released under strict conditions, including electronic monitoring and home confinement. Also in the news today, representatives from Village Dispensary, Allison and Brandon, joined us in the studio and revealed some really exciting promotions in the industry over there at Village. With Valentine's Day around the corner, the dispensary is set to offer various buy one, get one deals, including special love-themed edibles. Located at 110 Northport, the dispensary runs daily discounts. They emphasize the importance of serving the entire Riverbend community with a wide range of personalized customer service and some wide range of products. For details, visit villagedispo.com. And now at 9:06, here's our update as we march closer to the consolidated election in Alton. April the 1st is the election date. Ray Strable, the current 3rd Ward Alderman, is running against incumbent David Goins and former Mayor Brent Walker for Alton's mayoral seat on April the 1st. Strable, an environmental chemist, emphasized the achievements in office, including a comprehensive road management plan and efforts to preserve historic homes. He aims to tackle Alton's declining population with housing policies and efficient fund management. Advocating for a fresh perspective in City Hall, Strable believes the significant change is necessary to revitalize the community and reduce crime, stating, "We need to repopulate our neighborhood," end quote. You can see that full candidate profile on RiverBender.com/news. Our next candidate profile is on former Mayor Brent Walker, who served as mayor of Alton from 2013 to 2021. He's campaigning to reclaim his position in the upcoming municipal election on April the 1st. His campaign emphasizes economic development, public safety, and infrastructure improvements. During a candidate forum, Walker highlighted his private sector experience and community commitment, stating, "We are knocking on a lot of doors and getting a lot of positive responses right now." He criticized the current administration for stagnation in these areas and proposed solutions to address rising crime and neglected infrastructure. And finally, in our candidate spotlights this Monday morning, David Goins, the first African-American mayor of Alton, is campaigning for re-election for his second term, reflecting on his achievements and challenges during his initial years in office. Elected in April 2021, Goins has prioritized addressing financial deficits and improving community relations, particularly empowering the city's youth. He successfully turned a financial deficit into a $7.7 million surplus by 2024 through strategic management. A former police officer and community leader, Goins emphasizes mentorship and public safety, equipping police with body cameras to ensure accountability. As he looks ahead, the mayor expresses optimism for Alton's future, aiming to foster a thriving community for all residents. And as I said earlier, all these mayoral candidate profiles and spotlights are available on RiverBender.com/news to learn more about 3rd Ward Alderman Ray Strable, former Mayor Brent Walker, and the current Mayor David Goins as we head closer and closer to April the 1st. At 9:09, Dominique K. Lewis, a 30-year-old from East St. Louis, has been released from custody after being charged with aggravated domestic battery on February the 5th. The charges stem from an incident on January the 24th where Lewis allegedly strangled a family member. At the time, he had active warrants out of Madison County, and as part of his pretrial release, Lewis must maintain no contact with the victim and is prohibited from entering her Granite City residence. Additionally, he is required to surrender any firearms and return any firearms and his firearms owner's identification card, to the Pontoon Beach Police Department. And finally in the news today, New Frontiers Home and Garden Furnishings Company is marking its 47th anniversary in Alton with a big sale throughout February. Representatives Ed, Barb, and Kathy shared their experience right here on our daily show. They highlighted the store's growth since its founding in 1978, originally selling unfinished wood furniture. The store has expanded its offerings, including customizable options and outdoor furniture. Ed, who began making Adirondack chairs in his garage, emphasizes quality and style in their products. As part of the anniversary celebration, customers can enjoy 15 to 30% off and special financing options during this month as New Frontiers Home and Garden celebrates 47 years in town, being an Alton staple. And at 9:12, that's a look, my friends, at what's happening around the Riverbend. Let's take a look at weather. 27 degrees, and it feels like it's cold out there. It actually feels like 33, but who's counting? Today, some sun, then increasing clouds, and tonight, it'll just be cloudy. Overall air quality today is at 53, which is moderate, and other than that, nothing to really keep an eye out for. In terms of weather, the next couple of days, well, I know you're interested about them because, well, we are too. Coming up today on Monday, let's get through that first. A high of 37 degrees, but temperatures will drop quick this afternoon into the evening. Be mindful of that and drop down to 30 degrees overnight as we head into Tuesday. On Tuesday, a high of 35, a low of 28 degrees. However, we are going to get some wintry mix. Now they're saying that snow is going to go into the more southern portions of Missouri and Illinois, and then by Wednesday, we're going to start seeing more of that sleet, that snow. They're predicting anywhere for us 2 to 4 to 4+ inches of snow. So we're just going to be mindful on that and just wait and see when Wednesday gets here. On Tuesday, with those wintry conditions, a high of 35, a low of 28 degrees, and on Wednesday, a high of 29. A low of 13, so be careful out there for that freezing opportunities in your porch, your driveway. Make sure you're getting to your vehicle safe. On Thursday, a high of 25, a low of 8 degrees. And on Friday, Valentine's Day, a high of 33 and a low of 31 with partly sunny skies. That's a look at the next 5 days. Here's what's happening now. It is 27 degrees in downtown Alton. It's 9:13 out there for time and temperature throughout the day. 618-465-4545. This time powered by Bounce Back Rehab Recover and Return Home. While I have you, you're seeing the flames because that's the fire coming from Carver's Barbecue's kitchen. Let me tell you something. If you need anything that I'm talking about, whether it's brisket, nachos, salads, or just that little pick-me-up to get you through the day, I highly encourage you to stop by 2716 Groveland and Godfrey. I mean, this place is just out of the world. Carver's is award-winning barbecue, and you know it the moment you walk through that door. You know what I think's better yet? You had the Super Bowl, and for weeks I told you to let Carver's cater it. They're going to do all the hard work. Why are you spending 4 or 5 hours smoking something when you can have Carver's do it for you and probably 10 times better? Go with Carver's when you have the next catering opportunity. I mean, St. Patrick's Day is right around the corner, plus Easter's coming up too. Don't forget 4th of July when the summer starts to get warmer. Why cook when you can be a part of the fun and let Carver's do it for you? Don't forget to go to their website today. That's carversbbq.com. You can order online for lunch or dinner. And when you stop in, don't forget to tell them that you know who sent you over their way. We'll take a quick break. But first, downtown Alton on this kind of cold Monday.
Rambling man, trying to make a living and doing the best I can. And when it's time for leaving, I hope you'll understand that I was born a rambling man. My father was a gambler down in Georgia.
Hey, would you drop by the pharmacy? My doctor switched my cholesterol medication.
Yeah, will do, honey. I'm glad he's looking out for you.
OSF Healthcare can handle all of your family's primary care needs, including managing chronic conditions. Schedule an appointment today.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready, future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville. Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Village Dispensary has the best deals in Godfrey, Illinois with specials 5 days a week. Mondays, roll in the week with 20 to 30% off select pre-rolls. Tasty Tuesdays, enjoy 20 to 30% off select edibles. Waxy Wednesdays, enjoy 20 to 30% off select concentrate and vape brands. Thirsty Thursdays, sip and save with 20 to 30% off all drinks. Flower Friday, grab select 3.5 gram flower deals starting at just $20. Village Dispensary, come meet your best buds.
Have a rash, pink eye, or urinary tract infection and need care now? OSF On-Call Urgent Care is here to treat you. Start a virtual visit 24/7, whenever and wherever you need it. It's just that easy. osfoncall.org/virtual visit.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, free is alive and well at Liberty Bank. The local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
Sharing horizons that are new to us, watching the signs along the way, talking it over, just the two of us, working together day to day.
Welcome back. Daily Show hitting you at 9:18. Getting warmer out there, 27 degrees, Doctor. Joining us in studio is Dr. Kishore Harjai, who is the Director of Division of Cardiology with Salute Care SSM Health. Did I get all that right?
You got it.
I was nervous. It was a nerve-wracking couple of minutes here, Doctor.
You did wonderful, CJ.
Speaking of hearts, man, mine was pumping when I was trying to get that one out. You know, a little nervous there. Well, and it's always a good time when we're talking about ways that we can, keep watch of our heart health, because it's one of those things, especially, around here, a rural area, we hear of the deer hunters that are going out and, every once in a while having a heart, episode of some sort. And then, here at our, own homes, it can happen at any time. And what better time to talk about really just taking care of ourselves and watching it.
Right. So, heart health, it's mostly about taking care of our lifestyle. It's about taking care of any risk factors that we may have for heart problems. So the commonest risk factors, as you might know, are smoking. Yep. That's a really, really big one. High blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, and also family history, which is really if any of your first-degree relatives have had heart problems before the age of 55 or 60 years. So all of those kind of merge together to cause heart problems. Mm-hmm. And as long as we are conscious about which risk factors we have, and we take care of those by going to our physicians, taking our medications as prescribed if we have any of those risk factors, and really, really just maintaining a very active and healthy lifestyle, which includes dietary habits, walking, doing, steps every day. So those are the things we can do to prevent any untoward heart attacks.
Just a quick follow-up to that, too. Sometimes I feel like as people, we think, we're maybe more active than what we are normally. Where maybe we think, well, we got up and we, did our daily activities, but I'm still having these, sort of effects. I'm still not feeling the best. Is it really important to kind of monitor or do a little bit more if we're still as tired or we're still not as active as we should be, even though we're doing those daily activities that we've come to grow a part of our routine with?
Right. So when we talk about activities, it's beyond what you would do as part of your job or household chores. By activity, I mean doing about 30 to 40 minutes of moderate activity several days a week, say 4 days, 5 days a week. And that could mean just going out for a brisk walk. It could mean going to the gym. It could be trying to accomplish 10,000 steps a day. It could be, weightlifting, being on the treadmill, doing the elliptical, swimming. That's what I mean by activity. Just doing one's daily chores. It's really not enough, because when we do our daily chores, we start and stop, and we start and stop, and we actually never give our muscles or our heart any exercise, so to speak. So having sustained activity for 30, 40 minutes a day is really helpful.
Well, I'm glad I asked that too, because, that really does become, especially with the conversations I have with my, family and friends, we go, man, we had a long day. I cleaned the whole house, and it becomes, what I'm talking about, it becomes this big deal, but it goes a lot further than just, doing the things we need to do. We need to be proactive, and we need to go out a little bit more than above and beyond to take care of our bodies.
Right. And also making sure we are eating the right stuff.
True.
Keeping our caloric intake in check.
And not drinking these.
Not drinking those, for sure. I don't drink those. I drink coffee, though. Which is not, coffee is not bad for the heart anyway. So, but keeping our weight in check, as you might know, about 65 to 70% of the U.S. population is either obese or overweight, and we got to really make sure we keep our weights in check by limiting caloric intake and increasing physical activity. When we do all that, the other risk factors tend to get better. So even if you have high blood pressure or diabetes or high cholesterol, keeping the weight in check, keeping the caloric intake under control, those things actually help the risk factors. As and on top of that, you may have to take your medicines as well.
Well, and when you're working with, or your division is working with, a patient that maybe is coming in that has a couple of different risk factors that are brought on by maybe a lack of active lifestyle. Maybe it's because of their poor eating habits too. When they start to work on those, what I find fascinating, because we talk a lot about mental health on this show and just how it kind of goes into our overall health too, whenever they start working on those, daily habits, being more active, when they're focusing on their diet and they're starting to see these changes, do you see an overall mood improvement with those patients 9 times out of 10 for a good percentage?
Yes. In a good percentage of patients, we will see an improvement in how they feel, being less depressed, being less anxious, being more upbeat, because physical activity releases certain chemicals within the brain, the endorphins, so to speak. And the more intense the exercise, the more the endorphin releases, and people feel happier, more grateful for what they have, and generally less down when they are more active.
And, on following up on that too, when you're working with those patients, what is it like to see them, coming in, if they're really following this and they're really working hard? Do you see that kind of reflection just on their outer personality, just in the day-to-day demeanor, when, when the moment you first met them, they first came in your office to, maybe a couple of months down the road after, getting some work done, going through maybe a annual checkup, they come back. Do you see any difference just on the outside or external side of things with your patients when it comes to that?
In fact, we do. In fact, that's one of the most gratifying things we see in patients, not just the fact that their blood pressure is controlled, their diabetes is good, their cholesterol numbers are good, but how they actually feel. And a lot of times that shows in a patient. They're smiling more when they come into the office. Their spouse is happy that you've been able to take care of them, so that their children with them, that's very gratifying to see an overall improvement, not just an improvement in the numbers, not just prevention of a heart event down the road, but an improvement in how they feel when they come to the office.
Well, and you mentioned family and support system a bit there, and I wanted to ask you, whenever you're working with someone who doesn't necessarily, maybe they haven't had a heart episode yet, but there's risk factors there and there's some troubling signs, Can they make it almost to where it's a family event where, we're getting active together, or we're going out and spending more time together outside, or going to the gym together? Have patients use that as kind of not a coping mechanism, but almost as a tool to keep this routine going?
Yes, that's a wonderful question. That's a great thought. First of all, just having that support system improves the prognosis of patients. That's been statistically shown over and over again that people who have less loneliness in their life, who are surrounded by family and friends and social circles, actually tend to do a whole lot more, a whole lot better, whether they've had a heart attack or not, whether they've had a stroke or not. They live longer, they live happier lives. And in terms of doing things together, that's a phenomenal idea. I think goals, whether it's a goal of walking 10,000 steps or losing certain number of pounds or putting less salt in your food or quitting smoking, all those goals really work well if everybody living within the same household adopts those goals and they go ahead with it together. Then it becomes a shared mission instead of a single person's mission.
Well, and that's something I wanted to bring up too, because a lot of times we think of, certain battles as, kind of village battles where we call on our supporters, but even something like this to where, it could just be daily habit changes that lead to a better overall life. Why not, get preventative maintenance going early and do what you can do? I talked a little bit ago with somebody else from OSF. I forget who, but it was a great conversation about strokes is what we were talking about, but also the rise of maybe heart episodes or heart issues with younger people. Have you seen that in terms of your care and just some of the work that you're doing?
Yes, we have. The age at which heart disease affects people keeps on going lower. Younger people are affected. And I think much of that is related to the epidemic of inactivity that I see. The more we tend to stay indoors or avoid outdoor activities, the more inactive we become, the more weight we tend to gain, the more we tend to snack on unhealthy foods sitting around, the more we drink stuff
energy
like
drinks. Yep. So, I'm trying to quit, doctor. I'm trying. And
each one of those things has a cumulative impact on lowering the rate at which people start developing heart disease.
Something I'm always curious about, and I know that, sometimes you can't really, sometimes things just happen, but when it comes to heart issues and maybe heart attacks just at large, are there true warning signs like, maybe somebody's arms, getting tingly for a couple of days, or there's some circulation issues there, or there's some lightheadedness? Are there any, I don't want to say common, signals, but is there anything that you've kind of seen over the course of your career where you can interpret that as an early sign that something's looking wrong?
So there can be warning signs, but there is not always warning signs. So the commonest warning signs for patients or individuals who are developing blockages in the heart arteries over a period of time, those blockages get worse. The commonest early signs are feeling some chest discomfort or breathing difficulty with physical activity. So it would be like, I could walk 2 miles in 35 minutes, but now if I try to do that, I start getting this a little ache in my chest, or I start feeling short of breath. I can still do 2 miles, but it's not 35 minutes. Now it's taking me 55 minutes or an hour. Or it would be like, I was able to vacuum the house. Now I have to stop 2 or 3 times. I was able to mow the lawn, but now I have to stop. And so a lot of times the family members are more tuned in to the fact that the individual is slowing down than the individual themselves might be. So that would be the warning signs. Yet, one cannot rely on having warning signs because a lot of heart problems do occur without previous warning signs. There are sudden incidents of a heart attack, sudden cardiac death. So it's really important that we see our regular primary care physicians at least a couple of times a year, especially after we hit the age of 40 years, because that's when the screening has to occur. Do we have high blood pressure? Do our blood tests show diabetes? Do they show high cholesterol? A lot of those things have no warning signs.
And see, this is why I just find it so fascinating, because every time we have a conversation, I hope even if just one person goes, you know what, I haven't made that appointment yet. I need to go do that. if we can do that for one person or two today, I think it's a good conversation. With that being said, do you have a moment to stick around?
Yes, I do.
We're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to pay a quick bill here at 9:30 on the nose. It's the 10th day of February right here in the heart of the 618. You're listening to our daily show on RiverBender.com, Roku TV. We'll be right back after this.
Oh no, another bad headache?
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to see your doctor.
OSF Healthcare can handle all of your family's primary care needs, including diagnosing health issues or referring you to a specialist. Schedule an appointment today.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been an electrician. Or I could have been a nurse.
Maybe not.
Get paid to go solar.
We're not solar bros. At Grid, we're solar pros. We explain the process behind solar power so you can make an informed decision. We'll work with you to make owning your power as simple as possible and affordable with zero down financing and payment options. Our only goal is to save you money. Call Grid when you're ready to be independent of the power company.
Looking for the best barbecue in Madison County? Head over to Carver's Barbecue in Godfrey, Illinois. From loaded barbecue nachos to mouth-watering pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more, Carver's serves up award-winning flavors you'll love. Family-owned, Carver's is all about fresh, made in-house dishes served daily. Come visit us at 2716 Groveland in Godfrey, or give us a call at 618-467-9999. Order online, get it catered, or stop by for the best smoked meats around. Where great flavors meet family tradition, you'll find Carver's Barbecue.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
With my best old ex-friend Ray. Gosh, she said you knew well and sometimes hated. But isn't that the way they say it goes? Well, let's forget all that and give me the number if you can find it.
The time is 9:34 on this 10th day of February. You're listening to Our Daily Show, or you're watching us on Roku TV. Welcome back. Dr. Kishore Harjai, Harjai.
You got it.
I did?
Yeah.
I was in my own head again. See, I just need to keep going with the flow, doctor. I was ready.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Randy's going to be laughing at me when I get done with this one. But we're back in studio, and we're having this really important conversation about our heart health. And, before we go diving back into what we can do, take me through your role and just what you do as director, within the systems.
So as director, my role is to make sure, first of all, that patients who are touched by St. Anthony's and SLU Hospital get the best possible care they can get. That's fundamentally the major role, is to make sure patients are happy and get the world-class care. In that role, I also recruit several other physicians, nurses, nurse practitioners to expand our ability to touch patients' lives, provide access either in the clinic or as an inpatient when they're admitted to the hospital, or be able to read their tests in good time, quickly, whether it's an EKG or an echocardiogram, do procedures like heart catheterization. So the director role oversees several aspects of that. In our team, we currently have 12 physicians, 4 advanced practitioners. We have 15 trainees, and we have about 10 to 12 nurses overall to help deliver that care.
Well, and with that being said, how important is it to have everyone that's affiliated within that division and a part of the team, well equipped and well versed, and also always learning? Because it seems like, you have your, obviously there's so many types of heart episode and encounters you have with patients, and it seems like you have to react within a tenth of a second sometimes to determine the proper treatment path for someone.
Right. So training and equipment are two important things you touched upon. The training part is, it's crucial. We take the training of our trainees. We call them cardiology fellows.
Okay.
A fellow is somebody who has finished the training to be an internist, but now they are training for 3 more years before they can become a cardiologist. Wow. So we have our cardiology fellows. We train them in various aspects of healthcare. At SLU Care, we get a lot of very complex patients. And in Alton, we have patients who are seeing a cardiologist sometimes for the first time. We screen patients and take care of them locally with ultrasound of the heart, stress testing, heart catheterization. In fact, I just did a heart catheterization earlier today. We look for valve problems and address valve problems. And in being here, the idea is that we take care of patients closer to their home. Yep. However, when the problem demands tertiary or quaternary level care, subspecialty care, then we are available to transition them to a higher level of care at St. Louis University Hospital.
Well, and you just almost had a crystal ball over there, because that played right into what my next, kind of topic was going to be, is the fact that, for so long, a lot of generations, the older ones, maybe my grandparents' generation and even some of my parents' generation, were used to a world of driving to St. Louis for everything when it came to appointments, or maybe even, some of those tests that you can do now here at St. Anthony's. How important is it to have those type of, that type of procedural work at St. Anthony's and that type of system to make sure that your overall, the bigger, people, the bigger cases aren't, getting time constrained? Because that's where I think it comes into such a big fold, is the fact that you have all these network hospitals that can do some of this to alleviate the bigger, your guys' bigger networks.
Right. So, every question for me fundamentally boils down to, if I was the patient, what would I want?
Right.
That's where it begins. And what I would want is what we are striving to do here is take care of most of the problems locally. Yeah. Take care of patients closer to home, so their family is closer to them. They're able to visit with the family. And then be very cognizant that a lot of treatments require a higher level of care. So, for example, right now, at this point, most of the diagnostic testing that is necessary for the heart, such as ultrasound of the heart, EKG, heart catheterization, stress testing, and in many cases putting stents in the heart, all of that can be done at St. Anthony's for our local population, for our community here. We are also on the cusp of acquiring a special CAT scan and a special MRI, which would be focused on the, we have CAT scan and MRI, but the ones which are focused primarily on the heart, we are on the cusp of acquiring those technologies. We also have subspecialists from my group who come here and provide other treatments like putting pacemakers in the heart. And we've started a program recently to help patients with leg blockages. One of our colleagues, Dr. Arora, is highly subspecialized in taking care of leg blockages.
That's a big topic right now, too.
And there is a lot of prevalence of blockages in the leg arteries. Sometimes the blockages are so severe and they've been there so long that patients' foot or leg may be threatened and may eventually require amputation. So the goal of providing that treatment is we get to the blockages before they actually require amputation. And a lot of that we are able to do here. However, certain things require patients to be transferred to St. Louis University Hospital. For example, patients who need bypass surgery.
Oh, yeah.
Or patients who need valve surgery, or even catheter-based valve interventions like TAVR, that's transcatheter aortic valve replacement, or they need catheter-based treatment for the mitral valve called mitral clip. For those, or if they need stroke prevention strategies for patients with atrial fibrillation.
Gotcha.
Those kind of treatments we do have to bring patients to St. Louis University Hospital, either electively as an outpatient. Sometimes it is an inpatient transfer. And we try to do that as seamlessly and effortlessly so the patients at the end of it have not just a great outcome, but also a very pleasant experience.
Well, and, getting into that, just to follow up a little bit more on complex needs, how often, how often would it be where a patient comes into, maybe a St. Anthony's with what they perceive maybe just a simple, chest issue, where there's just something going on that doesn't seem right, and it ends up with a transport over to Sewell Hospital? Does that happen quite a bit?
It happens a fair bit.
That's what I was curious
happens a fair
about.
bit. I would say, if you look at an average month, there is probably 10 to 15 times that we have to transfer a patient from St. Anthony's to St. Louis University Hospital. And the fact of the matter is that even though the population at Alton is smaller, however, the amount of disease we see is quite advanced.
Yeah.
So we don't see disease very early on. In fact, the first question that you started the interview with is very relevant here. How do we... It is better to identify problems early on. It's better to identify problems when they're mild to moderate rather than when they become very, very severe. So those are challenges we face on a daily basis.
Well, and that's what I wanted to end the conversation with today on, is how we can really start to take control of this. And it's one of those things where, my grandpa started a sewer business and he came up with this term preventative maintenance. And I use it all the time because preventative maintenance goes a long way with our lives and everything we do. What can we do, as we're getting older? I'm 26 years old or 25. I don't even know how old I am anymore, but 26 years old. And, for people that are maybe getting into the early 30s, they're getting to that 40-year-old mark. What can we do to start making sure that, hey, if something is going a little bit elevated or out of control, we can hone it in early and prevent some major issues from happening?
Great, yeah. So what your grandfather called preventative maintenance, we have a slightly different word when it comes to the body. We call it primary prevention. So primary prevention basically means you do preventative maintenance before you have the first major event.
Yeah.
So the first major events would be heart attack, stroke, or having leg blockages to the point that the leg needs to be amputated, or death in the worst case scenario, right? So primary prevention means acting before any of those happens. And again, boils down to what we started the talk with. It's lifestyle factors. It's making sure we don't smoke, making sure we drink zero to minimal amounts of alcohol, because alcohol also has bad effect on the heart in many, many ways and causes several kinds of cancer. Making sure our blood pressure is controlled, diabetes if we have diabetes, making sure our glycosylated hemoglobin is less than 7 or less than 6.5, making sure that our cholesterol levels are controlled. We are active, we are not overeating, we keep our weight in check. That is the preventative maintenance for the human body.
Well, just a brief follow-up on that, about smoking, because so many times, especially in my life and people that are around me, you get the story of, what you ever think about stopping? Well, I've been smoking for 15 years, CJ. Why would I quit now? It doesn't matter how long you've smoked for. If you and when it comes to getting back to proper lung health and cardiovascular health, because to me, I'm thinking even if you smoked for 20 years and you're 60 years old, well, if you stop smoking now by 70, you should be feeling pretty darn good. I don't know anything. I don't know about this. That's why I figured I'd ask you. Is there a point to where stopping smoking is not going to help somebody?
I don't think so. Stopping smoking at any stage in your life is going to have tremendous impact. There is a lot of data out there that within 3 to 5 years of quitting smoking, the risk of cancers and heart disease comes down to that of a non-smoker.
Wow.
Now, certainly, the more the years of smoking you have before you quit smoking, that does have a toll, that has an impact on the human body, whether it's the blood vessels of the heart, the blood vessels of the legs, the blood vessels going to the brain, they all get calcified and they start getting blocked the more years of smoking exposure that we have. Yet, quitting smoking at any age has tremendous benefits in the future.
Really good. And Doctor, thank you so much for your time today. And before I let you go, my final question is, how do we start this? If we haven't called our primary care provider, or we don't maybe we haven't even gone to a doctor in a while, because I know some people are maybe falling into that category. What do we do first to get back on the right track with our own health?
So we got to start today.
Yeah.
Right? We got to start today. And it begins with starting today with walking or exercising, watching what I'm going to eat for lunch, making sure I'm not putting too much salt, not putting too many calories in my food, and making an appointment with my primary care physician if I haven't seen them in a while.
There you go. Doctor, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciated the conversation. You can learn more about all the benefits that await you at OSF Healthcare by going to osfhealthcare.org/St. Anthony's. We'll take a quick break. We'll link this conversation on RiverBender.com later. You stay there. We'll stay here on RiverBender.com and Roku TV.
Oh no, another bad headache?
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to see your doctor.
OSF Healthcare can handle all of your family's primary care needs, including diagnosing health issues or referring you to a specialist. Schedule an appointment today.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been an electrician. Or I could have been a nurse.
Maybe not.
Get paid to go sober.
We're not solar bros. At Grid, we're solar pros. We explain the process behind solar power so you can make an informed decision. We'll work with you to make owning your power as simple as possible and affordable with zero down financing and payment options. Our only goal is to save you money. Call Grid when you're ready to be independent of the power company.
Looking for the best barbecue in Madison County? Head over to Carver's Barbecue in Godfrey, Illinois. From loaded barbecue nachos to mouth-watering pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more, Carver's serves up award-winning flavors you'll love. Family-owned, Carver's is all about fresh, made in-house dishes served daily. Come visit us at 2716 Groveland in Godfrey, or give us a call at 618-467-9999. Order online, get it catered, or stop by for the best smoked meats around. Where great flavors meet family tradition, you'll find Carver's Barbecue.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Drop in between 4:30 and 6:30 if you want to drop in and just kind of see what we're up to, ask questions, learn more about us. If you're interested in volunteering, it's just a very informal, drop in kind of experience just to see what's up and whether you want to be involved.
Well, and there's a lot to be involved in, really, too. And what I find fascinating is every time you come on the show, we talk a little bit more just about the community involvement side, but also from the policing side of things, and how really just the work that you've been able to do and collaborate with the Alton Police Department on has really been just a step and above a lot of other areas, truly.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, there's some things going on in some other agencies, so we're definitely not the only ones in the game. And, there's a lot of people doing really good things. So this isn't about, kind of tooting our own horn. It's like there's a lot of need. And so I feel like, we need to voice that, and we need to understand that if we had everybody at the table, there's significant need out there. But we also, one thing I want to talk about today is, we still need to celebrate those success stories, because these are people's lives behind these numbers. I can say, we've assisted this many people this year, which I've been working on our annual report for 2024, and that's going to come out soon. And so we do have those numbers, but we need to tell stories, and we need to understand that those are people behind those numbers, and that's kind of, what it's all about.
Well, and that's a really good point to make about that too, is, a part of every recovery, there should be a celebration, because, it takes a lot of work to really go through that process and really understand it and really rediscover yourself in that journey too. And so, it's pretty easy to dogpile somebody when they're already down and out, and it's pretty easy to kind of jump on the train, but create your new one whenever you're building that person back up again and recognizing that hard work and sacrifice that goes into, really getting better for yourself and your loved ones.
Well, I would say, especially with law enforcement and first responders, and you obviously know this, but all too often they see people, they help people, they report on the scene, maybe in some cases revive people or connect them to services or not, and then they never see that person again. Mm-hmm. And I would suspect that it's because they assume they've either died or moved on to another area, right? And that's not a good way to think about it, because what's quite possible, and I'm proof, and I'll tell you more, is that person found recovery and they go on to be a contributing member to society and help other people and all the good things. So you talk about a celebration. I couldn't agree more. 100%
over, Jake. And by the way, Jake has joined us for the first time, so we have to break the ice here. How I do that is I normally spell something wrong the first time I have somebody on. Megan's name is easy, so I got lucky. Did I spell your last name right? Let's look at the lower third here.
It is correct.
Did I do it? Oh, gosh, I'm on fire this week. I haven't had a single typo all week.
There you go.
It's like I have a new flip sign. I'm on 7 days. But, awesome. Jake, I really wanted to talk with you about this film premiere and this panel discussion. I feel really honored that you guys asked me to be a part of it. It comes down the pipeline March the 1st, 2 to 4 p.m. at Lewis and Clark College over there at the Hathaway Cultural Center. And, Jake, let's take us through really what this film's about and what this whole discussion's going to be about, too.
Well, so myself, I'm honored to be a part of it, but really my story is one of many. Mm-hmm. And I think what this film can do is bring awareness to that fact, that it is one of many. I think, again, all too often people see maybe someone who's homeless in their own community, in their own neighborhood. And, we have a tendency as humans to maybe judge and make assumptions. Mm-hmm. A film like this, it's an impact statement, and what it does is it's going to, I hope, it's going to inspire hope and honestly, push back a little bit against the stigma that mental health and substance use disorders are, arguably diseases that can be treated, and with the right support and with the right connections and with the right community support and collaboration, we can fight this thing, man. We can help people.
Well, and if it's okay with you, take me through a little bit of your journey, if it's all right to ask.
So it is. I don't want to give up too much, because a lot of this will be, come out in the film. Mm-hmm. But I've experienced the lowest of the lows. I've experienced homelessness. I was an IV substance user. Jobless, carless, no transportation. I was a drifter, I guess, as sometimes they're referred to. I've been in and out of emergency departments and behavioral health units, and just the gutter of society, I guess, maybe. And, it wasn't until I had an encounter because trust me, there were many encounters with law enforcement, right? And I usually ended up in handcuffs or a jail cell. But it wasn't until the last encounter with law enforcement, who were critical intervention team, CIT officers, and they met me with compassion, and they provided some options, which was new to me because that had never happened. Right. There was always only one option for me, and it was jail. But in this case, they provided me with some other options. And long story short, it was the pivotal point in my life that led to what is now long-term recovery.
It's incredible. Truly incredible. And congratulations, too, on all the work you put in. And, Megan, with this panel discussion, take me through Sacred Space's involvement in it and how important it is for your organization to, help, spotlight this film.
Yeah, so I had the kind of vision for this film. We had some funding where we wanted to be able to deliver the message that it really has to be a collaborative effort, that we need to elevate the voice of lived experience and try to work to change that narrative of what mental health challenges and substance use and homelessness is like. And so, Jake and I met a few years ago and just have developed this, we have a similar mindset, this strong connection with like what we want to bring to the community. And so asked him to be part of it. Eric Rimrod was the producer of it. Fantastic. I mean, kudos to him. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have a behavioral health background at all, but it was a very emotional experience for all of us recording the film. I think when you watch it, it's going to be hard to watch it without emotion because, addiction and these types of challenges, they touch everybody in some way, shape, or form, whether it's yourself, a family member, neighbor, loved one, whatever that looks like. So it was a moving experience for all of us. And, the message that we want to deliver with this event is just show up. Please show up. Mm-hmm. This isn't a time to hide in the shadows. Like, there's going to be many in that room who have experienced mental health challenges, substance use disorders, homelessness, some type of trauma, some type of, family dysfunction or broken relationships. I mean, you name it, it's going to be sitting in that room that day. And so this is a safe space for everyone. This is a film that everyone needs to see, in my opinion, whether you're coming to look for support for yourself, whether you have a family member that's struggling, whether you have people in your coworkers in your business, people in your pews at church, whatever it looks like, there are just people hurting and there's people struggling and at varying levels. So just show up at this event, watch this film, and we're going to, before the event, I didn't mention this, we're also going to have a resource area outside. So various providers and resources and social service in our community are going to have tables, resources available, and things for individuals to just chat with and grab some info. Then we're going to show the film, and then we're following it up with this speaker panel where we can just, as you are going to join us in moderating, just field some questions about this experience, about what kind of, support there's available to people, maybe take some questions from the audience and that kind of thing.
Well, I think it's really, just a really great point to make, honestly, over anything else is lived experience over perceived experience.
Absolutely.
And I think that,
I like that.
I think whenever you have those conversations, because we all have ideas, and we all have, ways that we can, save the world, quote unquote. But I think in this situation, you're only going to get improvements when you talk to folks that are in long-term recovery that have that lived experience, that know what those processes were like under, maybe, different jurisdictions and different regions, how they were handled. Who knows?
Yeah.
But, it's a lot easier for me just to say do something when I've never lived it and never will hopefully live it. But you never know that. Anyway, that's another topic. You never know when it could happen to you. So absolutely. I don't know. There's just so much with this that you can build on, because it just seems like so many times it's always tried to be decided upon by folks that just don't know. And that's just kind of my takeaway.
Yeah, I agree with you. And not just gaining perspective, but inviting those voices of lived experience along for the ride.
Yeah.
Like, this is collaboration. Like, we don't have time to, compete. Like, there's a lot of people in need and everybody's doing their piece of the puzzle. And it takes that. It takes a village. Like, it's not, we're doing our thing and other people are doing their thing to support in this community, whether it's homelessness they're trying to address or substance use. Sacred is all about the root causes, which is always generally rooted in some type of trauma. And so we do stress that that's the continual message, is that there's a lot of programs and a lot of options out there for people. And, even living a life in recovery, you can go to treatment. And if you're just going through the motions but not healing those root causes, it's very common for relapse to happen. And very common for continual struggle, because we got to figure out now, like, the fact that we're using this, but why are we? What are we trying to fill? What kind of void or what kind of, numbing are we trying to give ourselves from the real root of what's, causing this? And so, that's a common trend for us, is trying to heal the root.
100%. So. And so how long is the film?
40 minutes.
Okay.
Just enough to really tell the story and tell it well, but not, have it be, I know attention spans are difficult these days, but we just couldn't really, we went back and forth and trying to do this in shorts that we can put out through social media. Like, we wanted to, but it's just, at some point you got to sit down. It's got meat to it. It's got depth to it. This is Jake's story with also me speaking in from a trauma perspective. We have law enforcement footage of, intervention intervention that goes on in our community. So the Alton PD is featured in the film as well. And so it really kind of paints the picture of what this collaborative effort looks like in practicality.
And see, I like that you brought that up because I think so many people just don't understand that. When we talk about, Alton Police Department's work and really the efforts they're putting in to deal with folks in trauma and the work that you guys put in together, but to go and see that and just see some of the real evidence of it at work, I think would benefit so many folks that are just not even curious, but just want to know more about what policing in our community looks like.
Yes,
that's not a speeding ticket anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like true policing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Jake, what do you hope people take away from this?
Honestly, it's just it's insight into perspectives that most people in today's society simply don't have. Mm-hmm. And so education, perspective, a new perspective, resources. They're going to get resources while they're there. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I want it to have a far and wide positive impact on what honestly is an epidemic in our community with mental health and homelessness and substance use disorder. It's a well done film. It really is. Like Megan mentioned, for me, it was interesting to watch back and get the perspective of law enforcement.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
I mean, it's never something that I've considered, and it's just neat to see and know. And then I think by being here, become a part of, the solution.
Well, and was it hard for you at all to do the film? I mean, because I know there's got to be tough points, and even though you could revisit something 100 times, it's still got to be. I'm just curious if that was painful at all.
Sure. Well, I'll say this: I've told my story many times to many different audiences, and it never gets easier. I mean, there are things that happened in my past that I am most definitely not proud of.
Right.
But at this stage of my life, at this stage of my recovery, it's almost strange to say, but I almost feel fortunate, or I feel like the things that I've gone through were for a reason and good reason, because now I'm able to use those lived experiences to then do something like this and be a part of something like this and impact the community and have a positive impact and then help people who are still struggling.
This is just incredible. You guys can learn more by going to the Sacred Spaces of Care Facebook page. There is a QR code, and we'll take you to the website here after a quick break. It's 9:49 on this Friday morning. It's 37 degrees. I don't know why that's saying 35. It's not getting colder out there yet. We'll take a quick break. More Daily Show comes right around the corner next in the heart of the 6 West.
Singing, follow me, everything is alright. I'll be the one to tuck you in at night. And if you want to leave, I can guarantee you won't find nobody.
Turn the visor upside down, Here we go.
I'm not worried about the ring.
Welcome back. A little bit of Uncle Cracker and a lot of Megan, Tyler, and Jake back in the studio, Sacred Spaces of Care, and this really cool panel discussion and the showing of this film. It's going to be wonderful. The film premiere of Finding Jacob and the panel discussion. We've just been talking about it. If you're just tuning in, it will be available RiverBender.com/Daily Show on demand in about a few hours. 2 to 4 p.m., March the 1st. How many folks are a part of this?
So the Alton Police Department, along with Sacred, IRC, Illinois Recovery Center, where Jake works, and he's a recovery outreach specialist there. We do have a few other places. They were tremendous in it because they allowed us into their facility. We did filming within the facility. Cool. That's something else, too. We were talking earlier about just community perspective. Most of us have never walked into a treatment facility. We don't want to know what looks on the inside or the intricacies of it.
Very true.
So getting to see that, and we have a few places in St. Louis that allowed us in that are part of his journey. Like, he literally walked his prior path, went to spaces where he had experienced homelessness and where he had been in, facilities and things like that. So
it was something else. There was even one point in the making of the film where we revisited a place where I sheltered, I guess you could say. Slept outside, more or less. It was something.
Man, that's going to be powerful to watch, honestly. I mean, really is.
It is very moving. And I find it, I know Jake personally. So not only is it, emotional and meaningful to me because of our relationship, but I have other people that are Jake in my life. And I think that if you walk in as maybe a family member of someone with a similar story. Like, it's Jake's story, but it's everyone's story, Right. And so when I watch it, I also think of other people in my life that I love, that either some of them, luckily like him, are now living in a life of recovery. Some who, are still struggling with mental health or active addiction and things like that. And so I think it is moving for anybody in the room, I think.
Well, and I think too, another point about it is the fact that, there's always, those folks that are kind of on that edge, that line of, could it go down into that spiral? And sometimes, I don't want to blame the loved ones, but you have, people that care about you that maybe get on you a little bit too hard, and it pushes somebody down a little bit of a darker path for whose reason or whose fault, it doesn't matter. It just happens. Yeah. And so to come here and kind of get some insights ahead of time, if maybe things aren't looking too good, then maybe could prevent you a long way by getting those resources too, and really working to stabilize things.
Yeah, or the opposite of, enabling and kind of, taking more stuff.
Oh, very good point.
It goes both ways. It's really...
See, that's your expertise in it, though, because, that's where I think this is going to be so important, because for the folks that have my perspective, there's always that one, too, and you have all of them as you live it,
there's always, like, the tough love versus the enabling and everything in between, important, right? You have to find what works for you and your
I like it.
Yeah.
See, this is going to be really just an important... I'm glad you came on to talk about this. So thanks for stopping by. Seriously, Jake.
Yeah, and we didn't mention earlier.
Hold on.
So we would like to try to get people to reserve tickets, but you are not going to be turned away if you just show up the day of and don't have a ticket in hand. They do not cost anything. It's just to help us get a head count. So completely free of charge. We have enough sponsors of the event to cover the event cost so that we can just put it out there. And like I said earlier, don't let anything hold you back from coming.
Yeah, please do. And also, to get a little bit of just a sense of the community spirit of Sacred Spaces of Care, and you can get a little bit more Jake, too. He'll be there for a few minutes. You can be a part of the trivia night for Sacred Spaces of Care. And I like this because you interweave and make it Sacred Spaces of Care trivia night.
We do. So it's all about fun. It's relaxed atmosphere, have a great time. Trivia is supposed to be that way, but we don't let any opportunity kind of sneak by without weaving in, our mission and what we're about. So last year was our first one. We're repeating the event this year. It was so well attended. We had nothing but positive, vibes after that one. And so we interweave like stories of lived experience and testimonials of people that have worked with us and have been able to have some successes and some change and things like that. And so we just really try to, and also just promoting our local providers and businesses. And so we're still accepting like round sponsors for the event, auction items for the event, because we really want to promote what is available to people in our community. So if you have something, especially wellness related, this is a great opportunity because we're able to share your information, provide resources to people at the event itself and really promote what's available to them in the community if they're looking for something, to contribute to their wellness. But even just, any business, any person, any group that just wants to kind of get their information out there and say, hey, we're here and we're available and we offer this service to the community. We do the sponsorships, the auction items, those types of things as well. And trivia is a blast. We always have a kind of a theme that runs through that as well. So hopefully everybody will come out. That's on February 8th. So
February the 8th, doors open at 6, trivia at 7 at the world famous
Absolutely.
Alton Wood River Sportsman's Club. That is a great trivia facility. I mean, it has such a nice space to it,
Yeah, it's cool. They were awesome last year, and we were coming back this year. It's just, it's a great space, very conducive for what we're doing, and so.
Jake, do you know what you're talking about yet? You got the 3 minutes already planned?
No. I usually speak from the heart.
That's what I like. That's what I like.
Yeah.
Well, and honestly, it's going to be a great way just to, really help, raise awareness and just support for, your guys' mission. You guys, and really, Megan, just because we haven't had you on in a while before we say goodbye, fill us in on some of the stuff you do throughout the year just for folks that are interested, maybe about what their support means for your organization and the folks that you help.
Yeah, so timing is perfect right now. I mentioned earlier that I was finishing up an annual report. We just put out a highlight video actually for 2024. It's a great way to figure out what do they actually do and what are they about. It's a couple-minute video, has a lot of pictures, a lot of just information about the events and community involvement. This annual report is going to do the same thing, and I'm going to be sharing that with my board on Monday, but then we'll put that out to the community. It has all of our programs, all of the services, what that looks like, what we can coordinate as far as resources. But it also we're very transparent. So it has all of our fiscal numbers as well. And we do need support because we need to sustain these programs. So we have some grants that we were grateful for that we were lucky to get that are ending during 2025 though. And if we don't have continuation support, then some of those things have, the risk of falling off if we don't have, enough funding to continue. And then we also have some big things that we're wanting to do in the community related to youth specifically. And so we need funding to try to be able to get some of those things off the ground. And these are programs that can make some significant impact. We have a new provider in Alton now that's now accepting Medicaid for youth therapy, which is huge. Yeah. And we want to be able to wrap around families more and get some of those connections happening. But, the work that we do is very people oriented. It's not materialistic in nature. I'm not going to be able to hand you a book that tells you kind of how to navigate. I have to walk alongside you to do that. Right. And that takes people and staffing and money. And so that's kind of where we're at with that. But so I'll put that information out. It'll be on our Facebook page, on our website and stuff soon. And like I said, the highlight video and that report really should paint a pretty clear picture of what are we about, what have we done in this past year, and what are our goals moving forward. 100%. And Jake, anything else before we say goodbye for now?
No, I'll touch on the trivia thing though. Yeah. I'm not very good at trivia. I don't usually contribute to my team, but I always enjoy getting with a group of friends and having a good time and playing games and listening to music, and I look forward to seeing people there. Yeah.
There we go. Hey, we'll see you there on February the 8th. And then if you have time on Monday to stop by around 4:30, and if you want to volunteer, learn a little bit more about what Sacred Spaces does. And don't forget March the 1st, 2 to 4 p.m. You'll see all of us there at Lewis and Clark. And we'll have a great film premiere and panel discussion. It's 10:01. We'll take a quick break for top of the hour news. You stay there. I'll stay here on RiverBender.com and Roku TV.
Hey, would you drop by the pharmacy? My doctor switched my cholesterol medication.
Yeah, will do, honey. I'm glad he's looking out for you.
OSF Healthcare can handle all of your family's primary care needs, including managing chronic conditions. Schedule an appointment today.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof, because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready? Future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville. Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Village Dispensary has the best deals in Godfrey, Illinois with specials 5 days a week. Mondays roll in the week with 20 to 30% off select pre-rolls. Tasty Tuesdays, enjoy 20 to 30% off select edibles. Waxy Wednesdays, enjoy 20 to 30% off select concentrate and vape brands. Thirsty Thursdays, sip and save with 20 to 30% off all drinks. Flower Friday, grab like 3.5 gram flower deals starting at just $20. Village Dispensary, come meet your best buds.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
What they try to say, you were always there for me. Someone
Welcome in, Jason. This is the first time I've had you in this year.
It is, yeah.
Happy New Year.
Happy 2025.
How'd the Super Bowl go for you? You a football watcher?
I am not.
See, I'm not either.
Sports ball. Yeah.
I felt good being one of the few people that was very coherent when they got up today, you know? With that being said, how is life treating you at Grid Solar?
That's good, man. Yeah, we actually just had, there's a new product on the market that I'm actually kind of excited about.
Really?
We're looking to install. Yeah, it's a new hybrid inverter. Has stackable batteries so that people can pick whatever battery size that they want. It's pretty cool.
What's that mean in terms of having that customizable, or not customizable, but being able to pick what battery you want? What's that mean for the consumer?
Well, basically, they can decide if they want to back up their entire house, if that's worth it for them as far as cost goes, or if they only want to do critical loads and kind of get the maximum benefit of using it as a storage device. So, you know, instead of using the net metering that we had last year, now you can just store that energy in a battery. And then you have it whenever you need it, including during power outages.
Exactly.
Right?
You know, especially around now. You got the Channel 4 is going to be giving you impact alerts for the next 47 hours straight. So get ready for those and all of that. But when it comes to this, there's so many changes and nuances, and changes being these innovations to this to where, I mean, you have...
And cost is a big one, too.
Oh, I'm
Costs
sure.
are coming down big time.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's got to mean pretty good news for a lot of consumers then.
It is, yeah. It's almost like the perfect storm because, you know, everybody was upset because we lost net metering last year. But now, especially with this new battery, plus several others that are coming out with new generations of batteries, honestly, it almost changed nothing for us.
Yeah.
Now people just have power outage prevention, you know, whereas before it was just solar and they were saving money that way. And I still think they probably save more money, but there's still savings to be had.
Well,
there's a good value now. Still.
There's so many benefits to it, too, because the more I thought about it when we were talking batteries in December, I mean, it went so much further than just keeping the lights on or keeping your refrigerator stocked. I mean, people have breathing machines and CPAP machines and all of these things that are critical. If you don't have them running at night and you have an episode, that could be catastrophic.
Absolutely. Yeah. And actually, we have a customer who he has fish tanks, right?
Oh, yeah, big one,
right?
Huge.
Exactly. He's a fish breeder. He does this for a living. So, like, you know, if that stuff goes down, he could lose literally thousands of dollars instantly. Well, or not instantly, but
it's instantly being pretty darn close to instantly.
Right.
Well, and the thing is too, it's even, you know, we're getting to this generation where it's like, you know, a couple of hours of not having service. You know, whether it be in electricity that powers just, you know, maybe your charter or internet or whatever because you have no power.
Right.
That could be just, I mean, that could throw you off days anymore just because of how fast the world works for so many people.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, if you know you're getting solar, you're going to help your energy bill, but also whenever the day comes that, we're going to be without power because it's the Midwest and ice happens. We're ready to go.
Exactly. Yes, it does. Yeah.
So what are you seeing now in the conversations you're having? I mean, are people... understanding this a little bit more? Or
yeah, I think people, well, in all honesty, for a long time, people were already talking about batteries.
Were they really? Wow.
Yeah, but they just, the cost wasn't quite there for everyone. You know what I mean? And now it makes a lot more sense. There's also some good benefits. So if you have Ameren has rebates for that as well.
Wow.
So you get about $300 per kilowatt hour of battery. So in other words, you know, if you get like a standard, you know, 13.6 hour kilowatt hour battery, you're going to get about $3,000 off the cost of that battery.
Wow.
Just from Ameren through rebates. Yeah. And that doesn't even include your federal tax credit.
Well, and see,
which is 30%.
Well, and on top of that, too, that's why it's so important to, you know, really pick a solar company and choose a partner, because it's really, you guys are partners with the client. It's not like, here's your number, here's your deli sandwich, and we'll see you Tuesday. I mean, you guys are really start to finish walking side by side, because this is a big deal.
It is. Yeah.
So when you know all these changes are kind of happening with net metering, but you're seeing these new products that are available and just what battery backup and just how it really isn't that much different than net metering still being here. I think it's better for the customer to know that, because it's a transparent way of really getting the information that's not a sell, you know?
Right, yeah. And when we show up to your house, we're not there to sell you something.
Right.
We're there to explain how it works. And then if you decide this is what works for you, we help you sign the papers and get the project going. That's literally how we do it.
So I want to touch back on this new product though that you were talking about here with this battery.
Yeah.
Who is a prime candidate? Is there a prime candidate for this? Is it somebody that has maybe a multiple individual household that maybe has a couple of family members or kids living with them, or has a bigger space? Or does it work for pretty much everybody? Is it transcendent?
Honestly, for most residential homes, it's going to be pretty universal.
Wow.
Because it's stackable. So this particular one has a built-in solar inverter. So it does all that built in. It can also control a generator. So if you go with a hybrid system where it has backup generator as well as battery and solar, it can do all of that, and it controls everything. And then the really great thing about it is the batteries. This system's called Point Guard, by the way. It's
okay.
a pretty cool system. But these batteries, they actually come in different size capacities, but the form factor is the same. So they look exactly the same on the outside.
Gotcha.
Right? And the way they designed it was so that as the new battery technologies are coming out, which is kind of a big deal in the industry right now, there's a whole bunch of different battery chemistries that you cannot mix. Well, the way they designed this battery is each one is individual. Wow. Has its own battery management system. So, if they change to, say, a sodium ion battery in the future, it doesn't matter. You can still install that with these older lithium ion batteries. So basically, they're making it future proof.
That's incredible.
And that's the huge deal for homeowners, because as of right now, if you have a battery system, say you bought we'll leave them unnamed.
Right.
But let's just say you bought one of the big wall-mounted battery systems, right? It's about 13.5 kilowatt hours. And if you want to expand on that, you have to buy another 13.5 kilowatt hours, right? Which is a huge battery. Where with this Point Guard system, you could go as small as just a 5 kilowatt hour battery.
It's incredible.
Yeah. So you can just do step by step, piece by piece as you go. And you literally just take the top off, put a new battery on, and then, just change in the settings. It's great.
That honestly is huge.
So, and that's great for us as well as an installer, because now, we can install these systems for people and they're like, well, I don't want to do everything right now. That's fine.
Yeah.
You can get that starter system, and then, a couple years down the road, you're like, hey, I actually need some more backup power. We got you. We can install another battery, and it's a relatively simple process to do that. So it's not going to be like a huge expense.
That's what I was getting at. I mean, that is really kind of a critical move right there.
And so it's just like one of those things like, hey, we want to add this one thing to our system, and it's like, yeah, you got to buy that new battery, a little bit of labor to install it, but like, we're not making a huge change to your system at this point.
Right.
Now it's just a minor update, and you've got more battery power.
It's kind of like the old Christmas tree, when the one light bulb goes out and you got to find the one light to put the one that matches it.
Fortunately, these all work independently.
Right, don't you?
Yeah, like a modern LED system.
It's just so kind of like complicated, where you have to go and rebuild or buy the same one and put. Man, that becomes a lot more work and tedious, and I could see it getting pretty expensive if you start doing that.
And 10 years down the road, when they don't make a lot of these products anymore, right? Like now, all of a sudden, this battery system, you can make it work with whatever's on the market at that point.
It's not obsolete.
Great. Exactly.
And I'm sure, is that something you guys run into if you have someone that already had an earlier solar install?
Absolutely.
I could see it.
Yeah, all the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So with that being said, how does the conversation start? If someone calls you and they go, hey, I heard you talking about this new product you guys are seeing. Does that kind of is that perfect for just that first consult anyway, saying, here's what I want. You guys were talking about this. I'm very interested. Or?
We're going to do it the same way we always do.
Okay.
So essentially what we do is I'm going to ask a bunch of questions.
Yep.
Right? So we're going to
And you better send the right part of your darn bill, because I cannot figure this out. I'll just be honest here.
The first page of your power bill, there's a graph. That's what we need.
It says page 1.
Page 1, yeah. No, basically, so what we'll do is we'll just ask a bunch of questions to figure out what your goals are, right? And so we're going to design a system based on the answers to those questions. We're not just here to sell you a particular product. We're going to sell you the one that's actually going to work for you.
Yeah. And see, that's what I think is so important, especially with this, because I can see now with this, kind of product coming out, I can easily see that being the next thing that the out-of-towners try to grab onto, and it's like, be careful about who is throwing up that 10-second ad on YouTube that, they paid $10,000 for, that only 4 people actually like the video.
Right.
And go with somebody that really knows and that's local, And
here's a little industry inside thing too, right? So we, as a company, we get our lead generation in several different ways. Right. One of them is Riverbender, for instance.
Hello.
Right. Yeah. The other one is we go to a lot of vendor shows and farmers markets and things like that. We don't knock doors, But one of the things we do is we do online advertising.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we also buy leads from websites like Solar Reviews and Energy Sage. And so we'll get these leads from people. Basically a customer goes to this website. They want some information about solar. They select a few contractors. We happen to be one of them. Awesome. All right.
Great.
We get that customer's information. And then within 20 or 30 minutes, I will give them a call or a text and say, hey, you want some information? We got you. And sometimes they'll be like, oh yeah, I just signed up with somebody else already. It's like,
whoa,
do your due diligence, man.
Oh no!
Right?
That's an angry conversation when the spouse, whoever it is, gets home on the other side.
Well, and it's you got to think about this stuff a little bit more than that, right? Like you have a right of rescission with all this stuff. This is kind of an industry insight thing. You got a 3-day right of rescission on any big purchase in this country. It's a law, right? And then on top of that, like you really do need to investigate these companies that you're talking to. Don't just sign up with the first one that knocks on your door, because they are there to sell you something.
Right.
They are there. That's what, I mean, even us, we're there to sell you something. But at the end of the day, we have enough customers where we can just move on to the next one.
One and two, you have enough customers too where people can see your product. I mean, truly see it, and you guys are living by it.
We're not here to push this on anybody.
But it's good for people to know, though, if they did, because you never know what happens. We all have bad days where we're all, you know, kind of off a step, and then someone knocks on the door and we're like, what the hell? Yeah, that seems like a good idea. It's good that you alert people to that. If you do mess up, you have 3 days to say, we made a big error
and the thing is, like, that guy told me that, and I'm not here to like, well, it's like, no, man, you're grown up. If you made your decision, go ahead. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
The best I can say.
Gotcha.
Right? We're not going to haggle you. I'm not going to try to get you to,
point.
We're not going to do all that. But at the same time, whenever you reach out to these companies, check with several. Don't just go with the first one.
Yeah.
And then ask questions and investigate these companies. Check their reviews. Check to see if they've gotten in trouble with the Illinois Adjustable Block Program, which is the Illinois rebate. All of these things are available online publicly.
It's so important. And it's one of those things, honestly, Jason, that whenever, people are talking about that, sometimes I think, just like anything, it's a toy, like solar's this new fancy car.
It can be.
But, it's so important. I mean, I think if someone's getting solar, it's because, they're calling you because they want it. You've already done a little bit of the research, but if you haven't.
Most of the time, that's true. Yeah.
And what I think's great, though, is that even when they do call you, and let's say they've never even researched it, never even looked at their power bill, you're going to tell them to do that. You aren't going to say, great.
Yeah, we're going to explain how all this works. Yeah,
right. You aren't going to go, this. We have a great rebate program for you. You're going to get it for free. Sign up and hit this X.
Right. Yeah.
And I think it's good for
solar's not free, contrary to what the online advertisements tell you.
What is going on with that lately?
Solar's not free.
That's the other thing. If someone's advertising something for free, there should be a red flag immediately.
A big red flag.
What are you guys doing right now? What's the workflow looking like for the team?
Right now we're catching up on a lot of stuff that we couldn't do at the end of the year last year.
Yep.
So like service calls for a lot of these, I think we told you we do we service systems for companies that actually went out of business. So abandoned customers. So right now that's what we're doing a lot of, right?
I didn't know you ever did. I didn't know you did.
Oh yeah. So we're one of the few in the area that actually does maintenance. Obviously we charge for that,
we got to.
Yeah, we got to stay in business. But at the end of the day, like January through early March is relatively slow after the first of the year,
right?
Because everybody's already met their deadlines. And so that's a good time for us to catch up on a lot of the stuff we couldn't do through November and December last year.
Makes sense.
Right? And so we're just knocking out service calls for the most part. But we do have some installations going as well, batteries and things like that.
Like just following the abandoned customer, or the ones that don't have their supplier went out of business, or their solar company went out of business. Is a lot of that? Do you get a lot of door knock, like people that just left the area, or is it just people that really went out of business?
It's literally went out of business.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's fascinating.
Well, so it's a double-edged sword because as we've talked about over the past couple of years, we've been coming in here, right? It's kind of the Wild West.
It is
in this industry,
it
right?
Still
all the door knockers and stuff. And so, when you have that and all these people trying to make money off of this particular industry, they flare up and they leave town.
Yep.
Right. That's what happens. They make a bunch of money and then they're gone. And we're here for the long haul. We're going to be here for a long time. We're going to support these people. And, we're going to be the company who stays here and fixes everything that they left in their path.
Absolutely. Well, Jason, with that being said, what do you want people to know about today? We've been talking about a couple of different things.
Yeah.
What's the big takeaway?
Big takeaway, I would say, is look into battery backup. Solar is still a very viable option in this area. We have tons of incentives. And at the end of the day, just have a conversation, because we're not going to ask you to buy anything. All we're going to do is explain to you how it works. And if it works for you, great. If not, that's okay too.
Well, and that's why I like the matter-of-fact approach to it, because it really is. It's a matter of fact. Hey, it's 2 + 2 is 4. You want it? Great. Hey, if not, moving on down the road.
Simple, yeah. There's no reason to add all the other stuff in it.
When Jason comes back, I will into the studio. I will have my energy bill to him. I will figure this out on how to send the proper page, which is page 1, and I will get to that. But Jason, for right now, if people wanted to learn more about these new product offerings, or what's coming out to the market, or just to get on the books for a consultation, is now a good time?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go to gridsolarllc.com. Right there on our first page, there's a form you can fill out. And it'll get you in touch with somebody right away.
There you go. We will link it all on an article on RiverBender.com. Jason, great to see you. Take a quick break. More Daily Show next.
Hey, would you drop by the pharmacy? My doctor switched my cholesterol medication.
Yeah, will do, honey. I'm glad he's looking out for you.
OSF Healthcare can handle all of your family's primary care needs, including managing chronic conditions. Schedule an appointment today.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof, because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville. Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Village Dispensary has the best deals in Godfrey, Illinois, with specials 5 days a week. Mondays roll in the week with 20 to 30% off select pre-rolls. Tasty Tuesdays, enjoy 20 to 30% off select edibles. Waxy Wednesdays, enjoy 20 to 30% off select concentrate and vape brands. Thirsty Thursdays, sip and save with 20 to 30% off all drinks. Flower Friday, grab select 3.5 gram flower deals starting at just $20. Village Dispensary, come meet your best buds.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Suck it in if you're into dinner in Berlin. Make it a spin move or else you'll win. And then begin to see what you're doing to me.
We are going to be having that conversation with Amoriah Gray. We're pushing that back to around 10:45, 10:50-ish, and going to be really cool. We were talking about this, Paul. So Amoriah is a young girl, but what she's done is wrote 2 children's books already. Wrote one, and it did very well. She does all these vendor events, and now she has a second book on the way, and has a stuffed animal or a plushie.
I believe she came to the county board.
I'm sure she did.
Yeah, and not to mention I have Doc, Michael Doc Holliday. He's been a board member up there. Really good guy, really active in the community. he's like, hey, you guys want to buy this book? I bought the book off and I
really
gave
cool.
it to my niece. Yeah.
Really cool. Well, she has a plushie that's out too, and she had it right there where the litter bug sign is, but she came in and we had a good talk, and she'll be coming on to the show, and we'll air that around 10:45.
Right, and the thing is too, she's doing stuff like that when she's young. You know how
it's cool.
Who knows where she's going to go by the time she's famous?
I joked about her,
but when she's older, she might be a real famous, best-selling author. Well,
I joked to her. I said, "Listen, I don't know too many people that get more exposure than me every day, but she does. She's on Gravoy's billboard."
Can you imagine writing a book at that age?
No.
At that age, I was like reading comic books and playing with He-Man. And
I was
like
barely
that.
reading.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Paul, I love having your insights on the show. We are officially less than 5 weeks away from the municipal election.
Isn't that crazy?
No,
it seems like me. It seems like me and you were talking about the big November
Yeah,
elections. Yeah,
that's true. Actually,
right.
Well, and as things are going right now, you're active as can be. Especially when it comes around this time of year. State of the race so far, 2025. What are you seeing?
Well, every municipality has their own different issues and what they run on, their different candidates. So I'm going to focus kind of like on what I know.
Yeah, because you're up in
Collinsville, Maryville. Yeah. So we have some big races. Start off with the library board. We all know that's kind of been a lightning rod lately.
True.
We made the news Channel 4, not for something that I wanted Collinsville to make the news for, with an employee trying to put a satanic book in the library got pulled, and a group of, I'll just call them progressive protesters, they held their little protest. They wanted the satanic book in there. This is really, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. It's a waste of time. But anyway, so this election, the same people who wanted that book in the library, two of them are running. They basically, they want to use a library, what I don't think it's for, maybe like social activism to push their political agenda, where like the other library board candidates, they're worried about investing money, just, basic library stuff, getting good books in there for everybody, stuff that reflects the community, maybe not just a certain social issue. I just don't think the library is a place to have like activism for certain, I'll just call them fringe ideas, well, especially for the Collinsville area. There's not a big demand for books about the occult in our library, nor is there a demand, because I've been elected official for a while now. I've lived in Collinsville a long time. I've never heard anybody say that they want drag queens or these kind of books that are kind of out there in the library.
Well, and like I said, 10 times more about that area because you live it. I kind of just observe. But I'm not trying to sound like a jerk about this. I know some people will go, why is he making? I'm not, but I just never thought of a library trustee race, a library board race to have that much, kind of contention and weight to it. It's very interesting. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what I'm saying? Because you're right, though, because normally library boards are about kind of, here's what we want to do to invest your tax dollars and all of that to, bring this into us. And so it's just fascinating to hear this.
Let me tell you something what the new board did that we got elected a couple of years ago. They raised around $90,000 just in investments. That didn't cost the taxpayers anything. So they greatly lowered the tax levy in the last 2 years. The previous board, they got a real negligible amount. It was like literally under $500. Wow. And so, like, if you think of a CEO, took over a company and he had that kind of increase in their value, he'd be, he or she'd be considered a genius,
right?
So we kind of want to keep that going.
Is there some people on your mind that are doing this?
Yeah, we have Kathy Murphy. She's on the board now. She's oversaw a lot of. She's a really nice lady. Full disclosure, she does live in my neighborhood, so I know her really well. She's a teacher. She's kind of oversaw a lot of this stuff. She's running. Kelly Reeder is also running. So she's a great lady, substitute teacher, volleyball coach in the area. She's just really passionate, about getting up for the library. Yeah,
it's so really good to know. Anybody else that you're looking at for those?
Another guy named Ken Noseworthy. He was a business owner at one time. He's retired. He knows a lot about maintenance.
Oh, okay,
everything
gotcha.
Like that. Got a good background in that. So they're having maintenance issues and stuff around the library. So we could get his eyes on that. And we'll keep the theme of fiscal responsibility. Keep the library doing what it's supposed to do. Yeah. Cut down some of the contention. The other candidates running, the guy by the name of Ian Green, it's a lot of contentious things about local churches and stuff. So I'm not going to give you all the details. They're publicly recorded. He said them in a library board meetings. Their other candidate, Lindsay Serrano, she describes herself as a social justice activist. Mm-hmm. She's also stated publicly how she wanted, the satanic book in there and, the drag queens, and maybe explore some more social issues instead of the traditional issues in a library. And if that's their take on what a library should be, let's let the voters decide.
Well, and I like your approach to that because because listen, there's things that people might disagree with what you're saying, but you have the perfect answer there is let the voters make that choice because they have every right to do so.
Right. They didn't like the way the last library board went, so they put a lot of new people on there.
It's very fair. Well, and also, too, in Collinsville, I've been seeing a lot of activity when it comes to municipal races, and out of all of the areas, I would say between Godfrey, Alton, and Collinsville, those are the most active of the three. I see Granite, too, but I would put them kind of with battling out with Collinsville for the top three.
Yeah. Oh, and the thing is, too, like, I have notes there. I usually don't have that. I just want to make sure I get everything in.
Oh, yeah, no, man.
Yeah, because I was on the Annie Fry show not that long. I was like, I didn't get to talk about all my candidates and what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, our township is very interesting in Collinsville, too. Derek Cox has done an amazing job. We have so much going on at our township. We have so many services. What he's done with the senior center, providing them a bus. He got the grant for that parking lot that our parking lot at the senior center was bad.
Yeah.
So he kind of, he got the grant for that. He got that fixed. I mean, to me, senior citizens, they're a really important class. They've worked so hard. They've paid taxes. They've helped build our communities. Let's let them live on Easy Street, the last part of their life, man, because you think about it, 30 years ago, I was in high school. 30 years from now, I'll be a senior citizen. So all that stuff moves very fast.
Yeah.
So we're all going to be there because a lot of people are like, oh, why are they so worried about, the seniors? I'm like, well, we're all going to be there someday, and they help build our community.
Well, they paid taxes for 35 years.
I mean, if you look at a town like Collinsville, Maryville, any of these towns, look at, they're nice places to live who kind of paved the way. And so, but besides that, though, he's lowered the taxes in the township.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of the townships, they have increases, and Derek, he works it, man. He has he provides more services somehow too, and he's finding out more like waste and stuff, and he wants to cut back on some more spending. That's kind of going to be the theme of the campaign with Chuck Markowitz versus Pete Paletti too. Pete has been there, I think, this 47 years as of now, 48. So this would put him over the 50-year mark for the assessor's office. Wow. And just nothing against Mr. Paletti. I don't know him personally. He's one of the only elected officials I've never talked. I've reached out a few times. And he hasn't been into the office in 6 years. He hasn't been to a meeting, I think, in at least that long. I've go to a lot of time, never seen.
Is that verified? Not being funny to you, is that verified? Like
that is verified, yeah. And he has employees who receive pretty good salaries. So you have these employees here. You have the person not showing up. Chuck says he want, and there's some spending there too that we think we could rein in a little bit. So Chuck Markowitz was talking about that. This guy took all the classes to get certified for the assessor, paid out of his pocket, worked on it over the last year, so he's ready to go. He's passionate about it.
You know what? I like there's someone putting the work out. Well, I don't know much about, and I want to clear. I don't know a lot about the Collins. That's why I call you and have folks come on, because we have a larger coverage map. But and I don't know much about the race, but to hear just going and taking classes at least, that's a lot more than what others do.
And I'm not knocking Mr. Paletti's.
Oh God, no.
His career as an assessor, but almost 50 years.
Yeah.
He hadn't been in the office in 6 years. He doesn't come. I've done go to meetings, so maybe it's a new direction. And Derek's going to get supported, hopefully, by Margot Wrigley. We're all getting behind her. And Brad Sewell, he's already a trustee. He does an amazing job. Brad's always doing stuff around the community. He's real popular, real nice guy. Everybody knows Brad. So we just kind of want to keep the good policies going. Yeah, because Collinsville's had a change on a lot of things. I'm the first Republican to kind of hold my board seat ever. Yeah. Linda Wolf, she's also got a good chunk of Collinsville. She's also a Republican. So, and then the city where, it's not so much like Republican versus Democrat. It's just a different philosophy of government.
It is.
Getting more for your money. Maybe, you hate cutting back on jobs and spending, but if it's not necessary, let's keep things a little cheaper for the taxpayer.
Well, and see, that's such a good point too, Paul, because a lot of times, and I see comments all the time, what's your political affiliation to mayoral candidates? And, I think it's okay to ask that question. There's nothing wrong in asking, but I don't think that necessarily is the right way to go about running a town, because there's I feel like mayoral and local issues are common sense
Sure,
issues. You know,
I
it's
agree.
not a lot of, outliers there. It's just what makes sense at the time for the majority of the people. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and I think it's a philosophy in government.
Yeah, that's
that is,
true. You just hit it there.
Maybe because I'll just give you a very, very important issue in Collinsville right now. This is going to tie into this race and probably all the races. A group, a trustee who's no longer going to be a trustee. She didn't run for re-election.
Okay.
Ashley Stewart is her, and I believe another trustee who is running for re-election, Matt Gunther. They want to turn the senior center into an overnight warming shelter.
Oh, okay.
For the homeless, and I am not 110% against a warming center for the homeless, but I am 110% against it in the senior center. It's not feasible, and the thing is, certain things as an elected official, you have to talk about before a meeting to figure out if it's feasible. You just don't go out there and talk for the sake of talking. And anybody knows, because for one, they didn't talk to any city leaders about what they want to do. Like, most of downtown Collinsville is me. Me and Linda Wolf intersect right around the senior center.
Mm-hmm.
So that affects me. I didn't get a phone call. I don't think Derek Jackson, the city manager, was called. I don't think the mayor was called. The city council members didn't know that they were going to bring that up, try to discuss it, and it created contention. The seniors, of course, were mad. They're like, hey, you're not going to do that.
Right.
Let's go.
So what you're saying is you aren't necessarily against the idea of an overnight warming. It's just we got to find better location.
And to these people wanting to turn the senior center into one, why don't you spend time finding a place to put one in there instead of just saying, hey, just dump it on the senior center, put the work in.
Well, and you know that was an issue in Edwardsville a few years back.
Oh yeah.
I was with the church, and it wasn't the same issue, but it was a similar one of what's the permit use like, what's the legality of it, and they worked it out. You said, hey, we're providing the space, the city approved it, or whatever happened, and they moved forward, and it worked out for the better for their area. So I mean, I'm not saying I know the answer for Collinsville, but a conversation. Definitely probably is the best step forward.
I mean, you have to talk to the, law enforcement.
Yeah.
Hey, chief, what do you think about maybe, a lot of homeless people coming to, Main Street?
Yeah.
And I hate to say it too. I think we'd get homeless people all over the area. It'd be like they have a warming center. A senior center is really nice.
Okay.
So they're like, I think that would, and I don't think we don't have an out of control homeless problem in Collinsville to where we would need a large shelter like that.
One,
so,
I think that's such
and another thing too is some of the more progressive activists in town will not work with churches because they have a hostile relationship with them. So, I mean, the churches don't care, but they get attacked by them. They don't communicate with churches who would normally take care of this. So you're putting everything on the local government, and I don't think the government.
They don't have the resources.
I just don't think government's meant to be all encompassing to fix everybody's lives. The community's got to do a lot. That's why you got to get along and work with everybody. And something like churches, a lot of people in my community go to church on a regular basis.
Well, and two, I think the bigger point to make on that is it's not saying we aren't It's the argument against the overnight or whatever it is that you aren't against it.
No,
it's just maybe a conversation. There's got to be a broader conversation about this because we've had just last week a conversation about. What Hand Up Housing's doing with Homelessness Reimagined over at Best Western Premier. They're having a countywide discussion on this. And it's one of those where, they understand that, handouts aren't the best way forward for this.
Sure.
But, they also know that there's programs that if we collaborate on, maybe they could help. So that's kind of what my thought is.
It's what you guys are doing. You're meeting. Like, I've been working on this. There's a project, put solar panels up on Pleasant Ridge. That's in my district. It's literally a half mile from my house. I jog by it when the weather's good. I've spent hours on this, talking to people, talking to various city leaders. And that's what you have to do. I'm not going to go on the board floor and talk for 3 or 4 hours about this. I'm going to line up my facts. I'm going to state my opinion on the matter. And it's going to be the hardest call I've made as a county board rep because I understand the property owner wants the money that he's going to get from the company for the solar panels. Right. I understand the city leaders want it as residential. I understand a lot of the community saying they don't want to look at the eyesores of solar panels. So I'm getting it from a lot of areas, and I understand everybody's point. So it's going to be a tough vote for me when I finally make my call. And the thing is, you talk about that with important people and leaders. You don't talk in meetings for the sake of hearing yourself talk.
That's a good
and
point.
I think when I go to some of these township meetings, I've seen some of the, some of the trustees they have now just kind of trying to impede Supervisor Cox. Instead of like everybody talking before the meeting, be like, okay, maybe the warming center is just not feasible. We haven't done our legwork, or Derek has. It's just not possible, guys. Here, money, staffing,
Do you
insurance.
think there's a solution eventually?
I mean, as far as shelter in the senior center,
not inside of it. But is there a solution outside?
There could possibly be some places in Collinsville.
That's what I'm saying.
They could work. I personally don't want one on Main Street now.
Okay, good. And that's where I kind of just wanted to leave. Do you have a moment to take a break?
Yeah, I got all kinds of moments.
We'll come back and we'll chat a little bit more. Remember, we're extending the show today. We're going to go to 11:30 today with that conversation with Amoriah Gray, but more with Paul comes your way next.
Have a rash, pink eye, or urinary tract infection and need care now? OSF On-Call Urgent Care is here to treat you. Start a virtual visit 24/7, whenever and wherever you need it. It's just that easy. OSFOnCall.org/virtual visit.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
I set the thermostat so my house would be warm when I got home from work, but the kitchen is still cool.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we stand behind every Linux system we sell.
My dealer said he'd take care of everything.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we understand everyone wants prompt, professional service.
Turns out it wasn't my furnace after all, just a little something blocking the vent.
Pretty smart dog if you ask me. For service you can count on, call Barrett Heating and Cooling.
Lennox, innovation never felt so good.
Brant Walker knows how to get results for Alton because he's done it. As Mayor Brant froze the property tax levy and balanced the budget, his economic development policy stimulated $116 million in private capital investment. Community policing and increased resources for public safety led to a decrease in crime. And under Brant Walker's leadership, Alton secured more than $10 million in extra grant funds for infrastructure and park improvements. Move Alton forward with Brant Walker.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible. Covering auto, home, business, and life insurance, our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Welcome back, Daily Show, 10:53. We are extending the show to 11:30 today. Back with Paul. I had Lionel Richie on the plane, and you got to take a picture with him because he held my flight up to Rome for 2 hours. They said there was mechanical issues, and that sucker came down in a golf cart, and that plane was ready to take off.
All right, well, that man's a talent.
I'm telling you,
we can do a whole podcast talking about him, his work with the Commodores. And does really a cool guy with a good spirit. Do you ever see him like give a bad vibe at any time?
Multi-genre too. I mean, that guy can do anything. I mean, he really can.
He had that Netflix special. Him and Quincy Jones did Weird World.
That's right. Yeah.
Did you see him kind of like maneuver around all those different personalities for all those artists? Yep. So yeah, he's like what you see is kind of what you get. I think he's just like a really cool guy all the time. Yeah, well, good energy.
What was funny is he's one of those guys too. If you don't take your moment, he knows it. Because I was the first one that I said, I'm getting my damn picture. So I went up. He goes, oh yeah, absolutely. None others. He was right to the plane afterwards. Right. He was like, you got your one. Now I'm going to work. I'm going to lay down. But getting back into this, I think April 2nd we'll all be playing that song in the car a little bit. Because no matter what, it'll be over. It'll be done with. And then now another administration all over the all over the Riverbend region will be taking shape. So right now, I mean, going forward, where else are we at here?
Well, I'm looking at races all over the county. Like, obviously, I'm way more invested in what's going on in the Collinsville-Maryville area.
Well, you should be. You're a resident there.
Our city council, that race is going to be a good race too. David Seaton, he's I'll call him a pillar of the community. He's done a lot around the area. He's a local pastor. He's really good. Donna Green's running for re-election. So those two are probably the strongest favorites. Got another young kid named Alonzo Skipper. He's also running. He's trying to make a name for himself. So it's going to be interesting.
Let me ask you this, because this is where the disconnect, I think, comes in from the public.
Sure.
How important is it for the county board members to have not necessarily a working relationship, or at least an open conversation and dialogue with city officials?
Oh, I think it's paramount. I talk to city leaders all the time.
Do you really?
All the time.
Wow.
Like from the superintendent of schools, the chief. Me and him work out the same gym, so that's easy to see him. I really don't have to. But I
get what you're saying.
I talk to the city manager, Derek Jackson. Jackson's really good. I talk to our mayor. But yeah, anytime there's a big issue, and like I said, these solar panels, I've talked to them a lot now, almost on a weekly basis. We're trying to figure this thing out. No, but you got to have, because there's so many arms of government. Like, I am not an expert on all of them. So like, if I need a question answered, or like, hey, what's your opinion on this? This is kind of more, your issue, like something like a zoning or anything. I go ask, the city leaders. Like when we were discussing, like we said earlier, the senior center, no warming center.
Right.
I talked to about, every city council member and, the city manager, and you're like, no, that's not a good idea there.
See,
once again, they weren't completely against the warming center.
It was just a location.
Not there.
Well, and now going forward, what else are you looking at throughout there? Because there's,
I'm really interested in your mayor's race. Like, I don't live in Alton, but you got, I could be wrong, but off the top of my head, I would say you have the most competitive mayor's race.
I think Alton does.
In the county,
I think
for
Alton
sure.
does.
You got 3 people who are pretty strong candidates.
Yeah. All of them are, really. You got a good point.
Either one of them could win. So you got various people backing certain ones. So it's a shame that, like, it's not only that race, because that'd be one to watch in the county. Like, I think all 3 of them need to debate.
Yeah, honestly, you're right. A lot of people are saying that too. They're
commenting
commenting on RiverBender a lot and saying the forum was good, but they wanted to hear more. So interesting.
And honestly, too, like, a lot of people troll on Facebook. Me and you both been through that.
Oh, it's awful.
I don't have the time or energy to debate them, but another elected official or someone run for something, hey, I will do that. I will, in a polite way, of course. Like, maybe they could be sitting there, I could be sitting here. We could have a talk about issues in a polite manner. Let the public know.
Well, and that's another thing, too, because I'm so tired of seeing these people taking cheap shots at all the candidates. I don't care what moral compass you have or what your thought process is. You're putting your name on the ballot. I have respect for you, because you're putting yourself out there to stand on what you personally believe in. I might not believe in what you're believing in, but hey, you're putting yourself out there and you're doing. These troll comments are just ridiculous. Not even here, but I mean, in every step of the way. I mean, from Granite to Collinsville to Edwards. I mean, you name it, all the way back down here.
Right.
And I don't get that, because to me that impedes the local growth. We want more people to vote, not be discouraged from the local election process.
And people are grossed out by it.
They are.
I told you earlier about them pulling a political stunt. That stuff with the Satanic Book was right around my election. So they want to get a rise out of me. They want to set themselves up for this election. Who would have a day of action to put Satanic books in the library? That is just, and I'll tell you what's so funny about that. The Republican Party in Collinsville, the Saturday before the Monday they did that, I kid you not, we had a food drive with the food pantry. That was our day of action. Their day of action was getting people all down there together to put Satanic books in the library.
And like I said, I hate to hear, that libraries have become such a political front. You know what I'm saying? Because I hate that. That's not supposed to be the forum for it.
Don't understand why you want to destroy somebody over political stuff. Like, we all have lives outside of politics. Why would you want to impede somebody's life? We have policy differences. Let's do the election. Because I sent out a lot of mail this time. I helped with a lot of mail. Mm-hmm. None of it was negative about my opponent. I did not trash her online. I did not trash her in the mailbox. It wasn't my style.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So,
I think once you get to that point, you're right. People are tuned off to that now. It's not the time and place anymore.
Well, everybody, and I said it at the beginning of the campaign last year, I want to win, but I didn't want, my opponent to live her life damage at all from this campaign.
Right.
She gave it a try. That was my line of thinking. Now, after they got pretty dirty, I'm like, well, maybe I shouldn't run for office. If you got that kind of mentality where you're not worried about improving people's life, you're just worried about destroying people at all costs just to get your very fringe point of view across,
Yeah,
you know?
I get you. And, you know,
Right.
with that, Paul, before I let you go, is there anything else you wanted to get across today?
Oh, well, I thank you for your time. We could talk all day.
Well, we got more time leading up because I I just had Mr. Barham on talking about state of the Alton race, and wanted to have you on talking about Collinsville and your neck of the woods, and also just more folks that come on because people get mad at me sometimes. They go, "You had somebody on that I don't agree with." Well, I promise you, there's 18 other people that are going to weigh in on this election before it's over with, and you'll be back to fill us in too.
The only thing I will say is we have a new county board, as you know, a lot of new board
you guys
members.
are working hard,
and we have Chairman Slusser. I will say, I really wished it I hate to bring up Democrat, Republican so much. The local Democrats have really, really lost a lot of seats, a lot of elections lately. It happens, trying to continue to start trouble like they're freaking out over what Donald Trump does. That's really not going to hit the administration building. So no, it's not.
I'm not trying to laugh, but you're right.
But it's so just like, don't stoke fear within the community. What he's doing is not going to really hit the county board or the administration building down there. Maybe some things will at some point, but there's nothing now. Like there was a really irresponsible county board member who was just saying that all the stuff Trump was doing was going to shut our federal funding down. Chairman Slusser gave a great statement just stating the facts, and the person doubted it. And Chris's statement will age well.
Yeah.
And the person starting trouble statement won't. And it's out there for everybody to see now on the internet. So.
Well, with that being said, Paul, I always enjoy having you come by the studio. You're welcome back ahead of the
we'll come back after maybe the election. We'll talk about some things, and then there won't be any elections for a while then.
We won't know what to do. Hey, we'll take a quick break, and we're going to wrap up the show with Amoriah Gray next on Riverbender.
See ya.
Hey, would you drop by the pharmacy? My doctor switched my cholesterol medication.
Yeah, will do, honey. I'm glad he's looking out for you.
OSF Healthcare can handle all of your family's primary care needs, including managing chronic conditions. Schedule an appointment today.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. Which is good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville. Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Village Dispensary has the best deals in Godfrey, Illinois with specials 5 days a week. Mondays roll in the week with 20 to 30% off select pre-rolls. Tasty Tuesdays, enjoy 20 to 30% off select edibles. Waxy Wednesdays, enjoy 20 to 30% off select concentrate and vape brands. Thirsty Thursdays, sip and save with 20 to 30% off all drinks. Flower Friday, grab like 3.5 gram flower deals starting at just $20. Village Dispensary. Come meet your best buds.
Have a rash, pink eye, or urinary tract infection and need care now? OSF On-Call Urgent Care is here to treat you. Start a virtual visit 24/7, whenever and wherever you need it. It's just that easy. OSFOnCall.org/virtual visit.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
I set the thermostat so my house would be warm when I got home from work, but the kitchen is still cool.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we stand behind every Linux system we sell.
My dealer said he'd take care of everything.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we understand everyone wants prompt, professional service.
Turns out it wasn't my furnace after all, just a little something blocking the vent.
Pretty smart dog if you ask me. For service you can count on, call Barrett Heating and Cooling.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
Brant Walker knows how to get results for Alton because he's done it. As Mayor Brant froze the property tax levy and balanced the budget, his economic development policy stimulated $116 million in private capital investment. Community policing and increased resources for public safety led to a decrease in crime. And under Brant Walker's leadership, Alton secured more than $10 million in extra grant funds for infrastructure and park improvements. Move Alton forward with Brant Walker.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. Our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Fish in the sea, I'm singing, follow me, everything is alright. I'll be the one.
Welcome back to Our Daily Show on this Monday morning, and familiar face friends of the show at this point. How are we doing, Amoriah and Angela?
Great.
Well, man, you know what I think's happening to me? I think it's a later in the day Friday, and I'm falling asleep on you. So I need your energy, Amoriah. So how's everything been since the last time we talked?
It's been great.
Has it? And now we have a brand spanking new plushie doll. How is it? How does it feel having a doll made after you?
It feels great, and I love my doll.
Well, and you know, speaking of that, it's been a busy year for you guys all the way around.
Yes, it has.
So I kind of am a little jealous, if it's okay to say, because, well, I have never in my life had somebody in the studio that reaches more people per day than I do. And that's you, Amoriah. Look at that billboard. Have you gotten a chance to see it in person yet?
Yes.
We went the other night and stayed out in the freezing cold for an hour because it's several kids.
Slots, yeah.
And you have to wait around, but it was worth it.
What did it feel like to see yourself on a billboard?
It felt great, and I liked being on the billboard because everyone could see me.
Yeah. Well, and you worked so hard to get there, too. And that's what I think is really important, that you, your mom, your dad, your whole family, you put all this effort in, and it's being rewarded. You know, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yes. We blindfolded her.
No way.
And so she didn't know what was going on, and then we had her take the blindfold off.
And as the supporting parent in this, and driving, and getting these things done and having that drive too. What's that moment like when you get to take a moment with the family and see that?
It was so exciting. I think I was more excited than her.
Well, that's because Amoriah is right to business. We got more things to do.
yeah. But she was just stunned. She was just standing there like, "Wow, is that me?"
Well, and now this is celebrating young African American entrepreneurs, and take me through kind of how Amoriah was selected, how you all were selected for this.
This is through Ariel Biggs. She's the founder of YBK Kidz in St. Louis, and it's also all over the country.
Really cool.
Yes, and so she called and said, we're at the Outfront Media. They're doing billboards, and so we want to put Amoriah on there. I was like, oh, that's great. It's so exciting. Yeah, so we're in their little program, their program for entrepreneurs. Amoriah is in there. She's been in there for 3 years.
What have you liked the program?
Yes.
Really cool. What have you learned in the program?
Well, I learned in the program to be confident and always believe in yourself.
There's nothing much better to learn right there.
Right.
Well, and I want to get in right into this plushie, which is beautiful. I don't know if you guys can see. We'll put a close-up on it on the screen here shortly, but this is 8 months in the making.
Yes.
And what I think so inspiring really about this is you guys are a local family doing this on your own and succeeding in it.
Thank you. Thank you.
For the folks that maybe don't know and they just see the box or they pick one up at the vendor fair or online, and we'll get to the website here, take me through the work and just what it looks like to get something like this out for the public to be a part of.
Yes, it was a journey. It all started, we went to Target, and she wanted a plushie that looked like her, and we couldn't find one. And she asked, well, can we make our own? I said, sure. And I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I was like, yeah, you don't want to tell your kids no.
Right.
But, you want to make them think that you know what you're doing. So I just researched and just looked around and some other authors who had plushies and just got some different quotes. And I went through Abaca it's a Chinese company. And went through them and talked to different vendors and just emailed back and forth and found a vendor that I liked, and the rest is history.
Well, there you can see one of those photos of them. Look at that.
This is by Graveman Photography.
Really cool. Are they local?
Yes, it's in East Alton.
Really cool. Glad that we could throw that plug out there for them too. And with that being said, I think this is so cool. It's $20 for this. It's a reusable decorated box, which I think's really cool. Is there some messaging behind the way the box looks?
Yes, it has her on the side. It has her picture her picture and her book.
This is awesome.
Thank you. And then a little message.
Well, and this is what I think's cool. From Amoriah's Magic Afro Puff, she has big, round, and fluffy Afro Puff, self-love and confidence. Amoriah is cute, sweet, and easy to snuggle with at night. Is it comfortable?
Yes.
Well, and I think this is just so cool because it shows, it's really shows that no matter how old you are or how much experience you have in something, we live in this world of technology where if you want it, you can achieve it.
You can, yes.
And, with all that said and done, it took a couple of, additions to this doll.
Yes.
How, when you're looking at this, what were some of the things that you saw in the first couple? Because I know that you said Amoriah loved it and it was ready to go.
Yeah.
But, when you're going through product control, what did you see in it that you didn't like?
Like the eyes. The first, like this one we love. I love this one.
Oh, it's beautiful, yeah.
But the first one, like the eye, it looks scary. It looked like a scary monster or something. And Amoriah loved it. She's like, can we sell that one? I'm like, no.
I got to look at that if I walk into the room, you know?
It's like, So, but she loved it. But you still like it, don't you?
Do you still like it? Yeah. Really cool.
And,
But you know what I think's cool, though, is because sometimes when we get the first one, our brain's going, oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
But whenever you want something perfected, you got to take time on these things.
Yes, you do. And we weren't in any rush or anything. And we also have family and friends, I asked for their feedback.
That's important.
And so,
Well, and take me through, Amoriah, what you like about this doll. Is there some features on it that you want to showcase?
Well, what I like about the doll is that she's cute and she wears a pink ballerina dress.
Oh, that is cool. Well, I love the bows, too. That's what I think's really cool.
Yeah.
Are they bows or barrettes?
Oh, bows.
Okay,
they're
bows.
stitched in. Yeah.
Oh, really cool.
And it was supposed to be like her, like she has her little pink tutu on.
Uh-huh.
So That's Amoriah wears her little tutus. So, and she normally has bows, but we were rushing.
I don't blame you. Well, and have you had your friends pick up an Amoriah plushie yet?
Not yet,
but
they're
getting there. Yeah, we told their mothers about it though.
Well, and with that being said, take me to the website again. What's the name of your website?
It's www.amoriah, AMORIAH, love.com.
Look at that. That's simple. I will take you right here and I will show you how to get your hands on one. You go right there to the website. Look how quick that was. I'm telling you, we're moving today.
Yeah, and go under shop.
Right here?
Yes.
We'll click on shop.
And there it is.
And we'll take it right there. Quick view. We'll click on it. And for $20, add to cart, you are good to go. And you can pay by PayPal or pay later. And I think that's really great too.
Yes.
I love it. I just love every bit of this. And also, a coloring book's included with this.
Yes.
Have you had a chance to try out the coloring book?
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
I like it.
Do you? Is there a favorite picture in there that you like to color?
It's where I snuggle in the bed with a stuffed animal.
Really cool. I love it. Do you guys have a moment to stick around?
Yeah.
We're already 10 minutes into this interview. We're flying today.
Yeah.
And Amoriah, I'm just really glad to see everything. You all are still working so hard.
Yes.
And that's what I think's really inspiring, even for somebody like me that's, middle of my mid-20s. It doesn't matter how young or how old. If you want it, you can do it. And we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with more Daily Show right after this in the heart of the 618.
Hey, would you drop by the pharmacy? My doctor switched my cholesterol medication.
Yeah, will do, honey. I'm glad he's looking out for you.
OSF Healthcare can handle all of your family's primary care needs, including managing chronic conditions. Schedule an appointment today.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville. Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Village Dispensary has the best deals in Godfrey, Illinois with specials 5 days a week. Mondays roll in the week with 20 to 30% off select pre-rolls. Tasty Tuesdays, enjoy 20 to 30% off select edibles. Waxy Wednesdays, enjoy 20 to 30% off select concentrate and vape brands. Thirsty Thursdays, sip and save with 20 to 30% off all drinks. Flower Friday, grab like 3.5 gram flower deals starting at just $20. Village Dispensary, come meet your best buds.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Telling me what I wanted. The heat of the moment showed in your eyes. And now you find yourself.
We talked plushies. Now, breaking news. A new book underway. This is cool, Amoriah.
Thank you.
Breaking news. I have seen the rough draft, and that actually got me excited because I love seeing the finished product. I've always been one of those guys that thinks it's nice. But what I find so cool is to see things before they're made. And just to see, you know, Amoriah, what your thoughts are and what this book's going to be about. Can we kind of tease a little bit about what it's going to be about?
Sure.
Take me to it, Amoriah. What are we writing about?
So I'm writing about me and my flamingo's adventures, and her name is Fia.
I love it. And, you know, what do you hope the people that read your book, this new one, what do you hope they take away from your book?
What I hope that they take away from my book is helping them feel better if they're if they need like a helping hand, and they could always use an imaginary friend.
That's really cool. And what I think so unique about this, and kind of getting into not too much of a serious side, is but there's so many kids out there that are struggling. Yeah. And whether or not it's from, you know, home life or just external things, maybe some internal. Yeah. Whenever you have someone, especially local, that's writing about something that, especially like you said with your flamingo getting you through, and we were going to leave that for you to read because we need you to get the book. It helps so many kids, I think, going, wow, Amoriah went through struggles too. I can do it. You know, and that's where the inspiration comes in. Yes. Now, did you know the topic whenever she started writing it?
Well, I knew she wanted to talk about one of her imaginary friends. I just didn't know which one she was going to, but she mainly had the flamingo.
Really
about
cool.
Our flamingo, yes.
Well, and, you know, take me through that, because I think that's so important to be supportive, you know, of all of it. And what were you able to kind of see as Amoriah starts writing this?
Well, she, just how much she talks about her flamingo, and like, I think she has a turtle in her hand right now. No. You don't? Oh, okay.
Oh,
normally has like little figurines or turtle or something, or a Barbie with her to help her get through. So we went through a difficult situation last year. I was sick last year. And so the flamingo helped her get through it.
Is it is it tough for you in any way to kind of tell? I mean, because you're still talking about a tough time in a different way. Is it tough at all for you to go through, or is it?
Oh no, not on the other side. Yeah. But yes, it's comforting to know that the flamingo helped her get through it.
Did you know truly the magnitude of the flamingo? Whenever?
No, I didn't. I didn't. And she always had them with her, about 10 of them. Like, oh my gosh, she got all these flamingos everywhere. But they helped her to get through.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, is the book, is the rough draft completed yet?
Not yet.
Not yet? So a little bit more progress to be made still?
Yeah.
When do you think you guys will have this one going?
Well, this is for the Young Authors program at our school. Okay. So it's due February 21st. So we're going to work on it again this weekend.
I love it.
So she's almost done with it.
And once it's done with that, are you going to print it?
I think so. I think we're going to print it and get it illustrated.
I would. Seriously, just reading it, because being a children's book, I'm not a connoisseur by any means, or I don't read a lot of them, but just the message in there. I think it's such a cool message, and really just a great story, too.
Yes.
Thank you.
No problem. Now, I got to ask you, how's school going right now?
It's going great.
Really cool. And, man, we're almost here. Do you have a 3-day weekend this weekend or next weekend?
Next weekend.
Next weekend's President's Day, right?
Yes.
And then how much more, when do you get out for the summer? You're only a couple of months away from that. We're getting close.
Yeah. Like May?
May?
May the
28th.
Is that it? May 28th? Okay.
Wow. She'll know.
Yeah. I don't keep up with it.
But you're what I think's cool, though, is you're 3 months away from school ending for the year and getting ready to go graduate and move on to the next grade. But also, you're going to have a fun summer with your plushie and going to all these vendor shows, which we'll talk about here in a second, too. But also, you're going to have a new book out. That's cool.
Yes.
So, take me through the vendor fairs real quick. How can we find you at these events, and which ones do you normally go to?
Well, we're gonna go to the one that's down the street here, the market.
Farmers Market.
We're gonna do that one first. We're gonna try to do that this year, because every year we
That's
say that
big.
and we don't, because it's a lot that comes into it But we're going to really try to do it this year. We're going to try to go to St. Louis and venture out. And also here in Alton, go to different daycares and different schools, do some summer schools. Yes.
So you weren't going to have very much free time this summer.
Nope.
But you know what I think's fun? You enjoy just talking with you, and it's not the camera or the studio or anything. It's just how you are, and you're just a happy-go-lucky kid, and I love it, Amoriah. That's why you're doing some good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, what is your takeaway from the plushie? What do you want the public to know about your plushie the most?
I want them to know about my plushie the most is if you ever struggle with something and you don't know how to write a book or make a plushie, you could always buy my plushie.
That's a good answer. That's a heck of a sales pitch right there. And you can just...
That was good.
That was wonderful. I'm serious. That was the best sales pitch I've ever heard for a plushie. Go to Amoriah Love. I am not laughing at you. That was just too good. That was too good. AmoriahLove.com. That's AmoriahLove.com. And you can pick up this plushie for $20. And you get a free coloring book that's included in the box, which is just such a cool thing. And also, where can we see your billboard?
It's off of 170 in Olive.
Oh, wow.
But it's also throughout the Costco's. Throughout St. Louis. They're going to have showings throughout St. Louis. And then also her plushie is at Today's Beauty.
Oh,
it's being sold there,
really
Today's
cool.
Beauty.
And that's over there right on Central.
Central, right, yes.
Really cool.
So they can get a copy of the plushie or the book.
So if you're driving around the St. Louis Metro East, keep your eyes on the road. But if you have a chance to pick up, your eyes for a second and look up, see if you see Amoriah on that billboard.
Yes.
And thank you so much, as always, for stopping by. It's always great to talk with you. And you have a great rest of your day, okay?
Okay, you too.
Thank you. Thank you very
having
much.
us.
No, anytime, seriously. Keep coming back on because I love following this story.
Thank you so much.
We'll take a quick... Well, actually, no. We're out of time. I forgot. This is our last interview for Monday. See you later. I am out of time, but we'll see you back here tomorrow on a Tuesday. Until then, try your best to stay out of jail.